So today we're going to start with looking at some different things we can do to make a composite image. And a composite image all starts with creating layers of different images above a background image. Now, very importantly, let's make sure that your background image is not a JPEG, but a Photoshop document. So File, Save As, Photoshop. So now I have cityscene.psd or Photoshop document. Also be aware of where you're saving it to. I'm going to save mine to my composite image folder. You might just be saving yours to your desktop. So now I'm working on a PSD. So I have to have a vision of what I want my photograph to look like. So here I'm going to take a cat, and I'm going to put a giant mutant cat here in the sky in the background. So I had to go to Google Images and find an image of a cat, and I spent a little bit of time to find an image of a cat that's on a fairly simple monotone background, so it's easy to make a selection around the cat. So I'm going to take my selection tools, and again, if you need help with selection tools, there's a link in the comments for a video that'll bring you through all of these different selection tools. But I'm going to start with my magic wand tool, and I'm going to make sure I'm adding to my selection, and a tolerance of 30 is probably a good place to start. The cat is very difficult to select with all these different colors and variations of tones and textures. So instead of selecting the cat, I'm going to select this background. And you can see with one click, I got almost the entire background. Except for right in here around the feet, I'll click again. And again, I've got pretty much all of that cat. But I don't want the background. I want the cat. So I'm going to go to Select and inverse my selection. Now I have just the cat. Now I want to copy the cat, edit, copy, or Command C. And let's go over to the city scene, that's my Photoshop document, and I'm going to paste the cat. Edit, paste, or Command V. Now the problem is I want my cat back here, behind the buildings. So let's turn on my layers window, go to Window, go to Layers, and you can see that my cat layer is above my background. I can't put my cat layer behind my background. So what I'm going to do here is step backwards, undo that cat paste. And before I paste that cat, I want to do a special paste called a paste into. I want to paste the cat into the sky. So again, with my magic wand tool, let's try a tolerance of 30, and one click I got just about all of the sky right there. Now I'm going to go to Edit and Paste Special and paste into. And there's my cat now pasted into my background. Now we're missing some of his arm because I didn't have that portion selected. But that's okay, because what I'm going to do is take my cat and make my cat smaller. So with the cat layer selected, layer 1, and I can even name this if I want to. I can name it cat, so I remember what layer that is. I'm going to select that layer so it's highlighted here, and then I'm going to go to my Move tool, and I'm going to go down to Edit, Transform, and Scale. Now I'm scaling this layer with the cat. So I'll click on the corner and I can change the size. Now in order to avoid stretching and skewing the cat, I'm going to hold the Shift key down on my keyboard. So when I press Shift, you can see the cat now constrains proportions. And I can move the cat around and position the cat where I want the cat. So I'm going to have the cat like right in here. So when I get the cat where I want the cat, I'll hit the check mark to apply the transformation. Okay, so now we're just going to repeat this. I want to have laser beams shooting out of the cat's eye, so I went to Google Images and I found this laser. I'll use my magic wand tool and I'll click on the laser, and I want to add a little bit of laser flare there on the outside, so maybe get a little bit more of that laser. And if I don't like that, I'll go to Select and Deselect to start over. I'm going to bump my tolerance up to about 45, and I'm going to click on the laser again. That looks okay. Edit, copy, back over to my city scene PSD, edit, and paste. And you will see that the laser is over here now as layer 1. I'm going to double click there. I'm going to call it laser 1 because I want one for each eye. Now you can see the laser is not really in the correct location. So what I want to do is go to, with this layer selected, I can go to Edit, Transform, and let's flip this laser vertically. Then I'll take my Move tool again, and I can click on the laser and I can move it over to that eyeball. And I also want to go to Edit and Free Transform, or Command T on my keyboard, and I can change where this laser is going. And I'm going to have it kind of going right down here on the ground. Then I'll just fix that laser again so it's over the cat's eye. Do not forget to click check to apply the transformation. I want 2 of those lasers. So with laser 1 highlighted, I'm going to go to layer, and I'm going to duplicate that layer. So now I have a laser 1 copy. I'm going to call it laser 2 instead of laser 1 copy. Okay. And you'll notice in your layers window you have, I must have named it layers 3 on accident, laser 3. You'll see both lasers. But over here you don't see both lasers. Why do you suppose that is? That's because one laser is right above the other. So again, with my move tool, I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to move the other laser over here. Get that where you want it? Okay, so now that's been moved. Now, those lasers are probably going to start some kind of a fire. So I went to Google Images and I typed in fire, and I found this fire PNG. A PNG file can maintain a clear background. So this gray and white checkered actually means that it's transparent. Now, if that's a JPEG, not a PNG, that gray and white background is going to come with the fire, and you're actually going to see it, the gray and white background. Here, I'm not going to. So instead of messing around with the magic wand tool, I'm just going to go to Select, All, Command A. I have everything selected here. Edit, Copy, or Command C on my keyboard, and back here to my screen, Edit, and Paste, or Command V. Now my fire's too big, so with fire layer selected, maybe I'll name that fire just to help me remember what layer's what. Fire layer is highlighted, and I'm going to go to Edit and Free Transform, and again hold the Shift key down, and I'll scale that fire a little bit smaller, and maybe that fire's starting right here. So the thing about that fire is it's kind of abruptly cut off here, so I probably should have it running to the edges of my image, and I can even play around with, maybe it's a big tall fire or a small fire, doesn't really matter. Maybe it's somewhere down there. Click to check to apply the transformation. Now I'm scared running away. So I got girl running here. Again, she's already been taken off of her background, so a very easy selection with my magic wand tool. Click on the background. All the white is selected. Let's inverse our selection so it's not the background but the girl. And we'll go Edit and copy this back over to my city scene, Edit and Paste. There's the girl. Edit and Transform, or Command T to free transform. I can move the girl around. How big is she going to be? Is she in the front of the image? Is she smaller down here running away? I also have to consider these people in the scene. If she's that big, she's a little bit big for those people in the scene. She shouldn't be the same size because she's closer to the camera, right? So maybe she's like over in this area. And I can click the check mark there. Now that is creating a composite image. In my example, I have the background plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers on top of the background. Each of the layers are independently editable. And if I'm working on a PSD right here, a Photoshop document, I can just give this a save, and I can open it up tomorrow right where I left off, and all of these layers are still here. If I forget and it's still a JPEG, I'll still see this image, but all of these layers will be merged into one, and I won't be able to edit them independently anymore. Okay? So what this enables me to do is say, you know what, the lighting on that cat looks a little weird. So I can go to the cat, and just the cat layer, I can do some adjustments to the cat layer. I can take the exposure levels on the cat, and I can make the cat kind of match the background a little bit more. All right, I can do the same thing with the girl. And maybe the girl is behind the fire. I can rearrange the layers. So layer 1's the girl. I can take and drag her underneath the fire layer. And you see here now she's behind the fire. Just by rearranging these layers, I can rearrange in the order in which they're displayed from front to back in my image. So again, I'll give this a file save, and that way I can pick up right where I left off tomorrow if I'm not done. If I am done, and I want to share this, let's save it as a JPEG again. So I'm going to go to File and Save As, and I'm going to go back down to JPEG, and this time I want to make sure that this is checked as a copy. All right? Otherwise, I'm going to save over my original JPEG, and I won't have a before image to show the work that I've done. So mine's already pre-checked. I can hit Save. This says, hey, what are your options on the JPEG quality? Max it out at 12 and OK. So now I have this as a JPEG as well, and that's something that's easily uploaded to Google Drive and shared with me. And that is how you make a composite image.